Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today, yet another Final Fantasy XIV video. Not one I expected to make on such short notice, but the trailer for patch 2.2 has been officially launched for Through the Maelstrom. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's in the link below. It'll help give you some context to some of the things that we saw. So I did a trailer analysis for patch 2.1 as well, where I spoke very briefly about each of the things, my thoughts about each of the things that they showed, and what I'd like to see out of them. I'm going to be doing the same here. Keep in mind, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, there's going to be spoilers for the trailer. So, spoilers, I guess? Spoilers. Okay. Anyway, moving on, we're going to be covering each of the topics that was available in the trailer. Now, some of them are going to be really short, especially these first 3 or 4. Leviathan was shown, the war leader. They just showed his arena, some of his mechanics, him dashing across the arena, him doing his ultimate move, tidal wave, dragging the whole boat underwater, and slapping his body onto the little boat thing to shake all the players to one side. Just a lot of things. I don't know how it's gonna see. It's not like a lot of the other trailers that they showed where you could kind of put things together and where certain things are going to happen in certain phases. I didn't see much of that yet, so I'm just taking each individual mechanic as an individual mechanic, similar to Titan Hard Mode, how each mechanic sort of operated on its own wavelength, and the only time where you really had mechanic overlap was bombs and landslides. So this is how I'm taking this so far, is just there's a bunch of individual mechanics that need to be dodged, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more when the fight actually comes out. Be ready for a video on that. Hildebrand, very short teaser, just the fact, they just wanted to state that it's continuing. They show Hildebrand and they show his lovely assistant, whose name escapes my mind right now because it's a Makote name and I'm horrible with those. And also that didn't look like Hildebrand, but some random dude with white hair and no clothes on just came crashing down like a meteor. I don't know what to make of that, but it's Hildebrand, so anything can happen. My boy Hildebrand, always keeping it fresh. Then they showed off a few little things like hairstyles. You know, it's always nice to get new hairstyles. I'm not big on changing the look of my character often, so it's not a feature I've even unlocked yet on my character. I don't even think I've unlocked it yet. But those of you who are looking for more hairstyles to individualize your character, there are more coming, so hopefully you enjoy those. They showed off big fishing, and I use the term showed off very loosely because it just looked like some dude waiting for like three Eorzean days just waiting to catch a fish, and then it cuts to black when he catches the big fish. I guess so he can't see the new animation for the big fish. I'm wondering if that's for fishing challenges, or if that's what big fishing is as a whole, or if it's a new type of fishing like sky fishing and sea fishing, or sand fishing and sky fishing, whatever the hell those are called. Moving on to gardening, we saw what the little garden looks like. It's a garden, it looks like it has 8 patches, and you can grow what look like bushes. I'm assuming that those bushes can be harvested. It looks like they can be because they're glowing. Like the one that's biggest looks like it's glowing, thus it can be harvested for its materials. It looks like it doesn't take up much space at all, which I like. I think that with the size of the houses and the yards right now, it shouldn't be that big. It should just take up a small portion, something that people can just do on the side. You know, you're not, unless maybe you, I don't know if you can plant multiple gardens. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's another thing we'll have to kind of wait till it comes out to find out, or at least until we get some patch notes. Now, they went right from gardening to Thorn March Extreme because I guess plants equals Moogles? Didn't seem like a great segue, but regardless, they showed Thorn March Extreme first for the next of a bunch of battle things that they're going to be showing late. And it looks like this fight is actually against the Good King himself. Now, Thorn March Hard Mode technically was against the Good King, but he joined halfway into the fight, and he was kind of not the highlight of the fight. It looks like this time he is the highlight, and the rest of the mobs are maybe less important. Looks like you fight him right from 100%, and then at certain percentages, he'll summon his Moogle companions to help him with the fight, as opposed to the Moogles summoning him mid-fight. So that's just what it looked like to me. I saw a few new mechanics going through here. I saw like these hearts above their heads. Not sure what those are going to do, but I'm looking forward to it regardless. Whatever it is that they have planned for Good King Moggle, I'm sure any excuse to listen to that song again is a good one. And then they started showing off the new 4-man dungeons, which was Lost City of Amdapor, Brayflox, and Halatali. They started with the Lost City of Amdapor, and listen, you got to go watch this trailer and just listen to it. It is such a soothing tune. This was my favorite song in the entire trailer. Well, second favorite. There's one ahead of it, but we'll get to that later. So Thorn March, Lost City of Amdapor, as you can see, we got a little bit of a treat. The last boss, Diablos, is pretty much a carbon copy of his Final Fantasy VIII version. Now, we did see in the recent Game Watch interview that they did specifically mention Final Fantasy VIII, but the way that he's summoned and the way that he uses his special moves are completely 100% reminiscent of Final Fantasy VIII. So if you're a big Final Fantasy VIII fan, this will be a great throwback for you. Those of you who are hoping maybe he would be a more important boss, I don't know. Siren was also a Guardian Force in Final Fantasy VIII and also was a 4-man boss in A Realm Reborn. So as long as it fits to the lore and it makes sense, then I have no quarrels with this. As long as the music is awesome, the fight is awesome, even if it's a hard mode that I probably won't do so many times that it'll like drive me insane, I can look forward to that, at least that first time where you're like, wow, that is really awesome. So then they started showing off the hard modes. First, they showed off Brave Flocks, which they showed off quite a few interesting things. You know, at first it just looks like a generic, you know, run through. The first boss even somewhat reminds me of when they showed the Hawk Manor second boss, Ash. And then they started showing off, I guess, sort of just what the goblins have been up to. I mean, the last boss looks amazing, as you can see from this screenshot right here. This screenshot shows him dropping bombs all over the place. And if there's anything we've learned from Titan Hard Mode and Titan Extreme, bombs. It just has to be said by itself. You all know what it means. So, bombs, lots of bombs to dodge. Even a big bomb that looks like the players have to destroy before it explodes, while the tank just runs around running people over. It looks like a fun fight, and I'm interested to see what they've learned. And then Halatali Hard Mode, those of you who don't know, is actually a coliseum that we're just participating in. So it's actually to train participants. So they showed off a few bosses. They showed off the bear. They showed off the Cyclops, who looked to be the first boss of the dungeon. They showed off this new enemy that I don't recognize at all. I'm sure it's from a Final Fantasy, and I just can't remember right now. Like, it kind of reminds me of a few enemies, but I can't. The name escapes me. And then, of course, they showed off the last boss, which actually, well, I'm assuming is the last boss, the Manticore. They usually show off the last boss in these hard mode trailers based on the last one, which is a Manticore, but I have a feeling he's not the entire part of the fight. I mean, if you look at this screenshot right here, chains envelop everything. It enveloped the boss, it enveloped all of the players, enveloped ads. It just stopped everything, and then a giant room-wide AoE started to be cast. So I think that just might have to be something, maybe some random Coliseum aspects to make the fight harder or make it easier. I don't know, but it would be really cool if it was sort of a dynamic fight that wasn't the same every time you went in. A little bit of RNG based, but not so much RNG that you couldn't overcome it with a solid strategy. That's the kind of RNG that I would like. Now, anyway, moving on, they showed off a few more of the not directly in battle things. Now, retainer ventures are something that we've been very curious about. For those of you who don't know, you'll be able to assign your retainer to perform specific tasks for you. And up till now, we had no idea what those tasks were going to be. Well, it seems like your retainer, based on this screenshot, can now be leveled. That's right. Right from level 1, it looks like, at that. You can pay your retainer to go out, perform tasks, level them up. They can farm items in the process that you can use for crafting, for leveling up your crafts and whatnot. They can also go out and gather if you don't want them to be on, let's say, in this example, Pugilist. You can even tell them to go craft or gather, it looks like. So it's actually very, very interesting to see how much they're capable of doing. But we did also answer the question, how effective will it be? 7 items in an hour, based on the screenshot that I have right here, is not super effective, but it is something to do on the side. It's like, oh, my retainer is coming back, so let me go level them. It's something that will definitely keep people busy to a degree, because I'm sure you won't start from level 50. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, actually. We have no idea of telling. But if they have level 1 to 4 things, I don't know. I feel like you're going to have to level them right from level 1, and it's going to be quite a, not time-consuming, but you will have to pay a little bit of attention if you want to get your retainer up to the point where they can farm items like pudding flesh, which, by the way, people really need pudding flesh. So anyway, looks interesting. I'm looking forward to it. They also briefly showed off glamours. I made a video about this the other day where they showed it off in the letter of the producer, 55, I think it was. And all it is, you know, I guess they're just showing how diverse it is, like that there's very little limitations on it other than the ones that I discussed yesterday in my video. And then they moved on to new crafting recipes. I'm sure some of this is item level 90 stuff. If I had to guess, it's item level 90 crafted stuff. Obviously, I could be completely wrong. I'm sure there's new crafting recipes for very unique, like vanity-only items. There were some of those introduced in 2.1. I'm assuming even more of them will be introduced in 2.2. Looking forward to seeing what the master crafting recipes are going to be. Now, we only have a few sections left here. Beast Tribe quests, nothing really that we didn't see from the last set of Beast Tribe quests, although I will say one thing. It looks like they've sort of expanded upon the areas with which that you will be taking place. I mean, this screenshot right here, you're on a boat. I mean, that's definitely an area that's not in the game currently, that boat that you're currently on. So I'm interested to see if they start learning more about the daily quests and making them more interesting, making them show off areas that we may not have seen before, that are brand new, that they've developed specifically for Beast Tribe quests. I feel like it breaks up the monotony a little bit when you're not just running through the same areas that have already been in the game for 6 months, but you're actually exploring brand new areas and layouts that weren't there before. Obviously, it's just a little bit to break up the monotony of a daily quest. It is still a daily quest with a little bit of a storyline behind it. But I like breaking up any sort of monotony when it comes to doing daily quests and daily grinds. Now, this is my favorite part, the Binding Coil of Bahamut. Now, again, I think back to the first Binding Coil of Bahamut, we got no trailers for that whatsoever. We got a single screenshot of the Binding Coil of Bahamut. This screenshot right here. This is the only thing we got of the Binding Coil of Bahamut before it came out, pretty much. We got nothing. I think maybe they ran through one area at some point, and that might be it, but I remember being completely surprised by it. It looks like they tried to leave as few of the story elements in as possible, but it also looks like the Binding Coil starts outside. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is turn 6 right here that we're fighting this Rafflesia at, and it's outside. It's not inside the Binding Coil yet, which I think is really cool, sort of an introduction to the introduction of the coil. Turn 7, 8, and 9, we saw a few things. We saw the Medusa boss, which previewed as the boss after Rafflesia. Of course, these could not be in chronological order, but I don't know, based on the way they do the rest of their trailers, this seems to be something that was in chronological order. See, they tried to show off as few mechanics as possible. They tried to keep us wondering as much as possible with the first 2 bosses. I know we saw a knockback, and then we saw, you know, a bunch of vines chaining between players. We saw a bunch of areas that didn't look safe to stand in. With Medusa, we see a few AoEs casting. We see certain areas of the ground being lit up and exploding immediately, almost immediately, I should say. We see a lot of interesting trash. Looks like ADSs, or Allegan Defense Systems, the nodes, are being used pretty much exclusively for trash. There's one really annoying one. The players were running forward, and an Allegan Defense node runs up, does high voltage, and then disappears. It's like, thanks. And then a bunch of ads spawn. So it looks like they've really learned a lot for both trash pulls and boss pulls. Of course, then we saw the Mecha Trent, which has an official name on the forums. I forgot to check it. And not on the official forums. On the official website, he has an official name. I actually forgot to look at what it was before I made this video. I looked at it before, but I just didn't commit it to memory. So if you want the official name of this Trent-looking boss, this Omega Trent weapon-looking boss, just go check it out on the official site. There will be a link for that in the description below as well. And finally, we got a short little cutscene, which I guess looked to me like one of the cutscenes you'll get just before turn 9. That's just, if I had to guess, that's what it is. That's how they handled, you know, Lost City of Amdapor. They showed you most of the dungeon going through, previewed the bosses, previewed the trash, and then they show you the cutscene before the last boss. So when it comes to this, I have a feeling that we got our preview of the turn 9 boss. Now, I could be wrong here, but if you look really closely in this screenshot, look really closely, those of you who played 1.0 know who's there. That is Nail Van Darnus from the Ribbon Road fight of 1.0. He was the main villain of 1.0. He was the person who caused the calamity in the first place, who, you know, he's the one who set Bahamut free the first time. So now it looks like he's making his return in the Binding Coil turn 9. This is not the first time we've seen him, but I'll leave that up for you to determine in terms of 2.0. Where have we seen him in Binding Coil? In 2.0, where did we see him? Not in 2.1, in 2.0. But now we see him in the Binding Coil, what looks like turn 9. He may even be a boss. Who knows? But I'm very much looking forward to exploring what the White Raven has in store for us. Now, of course, in the traditional trailer sense, they showed off the main scenario quests. I'll say last, quote-unquote, but it's not really the last thing. I don't want to spoil too much, but it just looks like we're going to be going up against the Sahagin and Leviathan. And it also looks like Minfilia has a few personal issues to deal, as well as the new race that's coming to Eorzea. Obviously, I made a video about this as well, a new race coming to Eorzea. This does look more and more like a Viera as we see her from more angles. Some angles of her, she looks really tall, and then some of them she looks really short. So if she's really tall, I can say money is she's a Viera. There's also, I had this pointed out to me by a fan on my Facebook, that this screenshot is taken directly from the main page of the Final Fantasy XIV 2.2 website, because every single patch needs its own website, yeah? And at first I'm like, that really just looks like a Makote, because the ears don't really, those scream cat ears to me. Those don't look like bunny ears. But I figured I'd mention it here just so I have all my bases covered. She does look really friggin' tall, I will say that. I mean, if you look at her body, but I mean, that's concept art. It could mean anything. Is this a Viera? Is it not? I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. Leave it to a vote. Say in the comments below if you think that's a Viera with really short ears or if it's just a Makote. I don't know. I think it's just a Makote, but I'm open to being wrong. Very obviously open to being wrong. And that was all for the first 8 minutes, I guess 7 minutes and 30 seconds of the trailer. However, in the last little bit, we got our preview of the battle at Big Bridge with Gilgamesh. That's right. Gilgamesh is not going to be a fate. In fact, it looks like we're going to a bridge that's between like Ishgard and I don't know. That's not a bridge we've ever seen before, but if it's tied in with Hildebrand, it could be anywhere in the world. Who the hell knows? But I don't reckon the only place I recognize that bridge from is by Ishgard. I swear I've seen that bridge by Ishgard before. I can't think of another place I've seen that bridge. So I'm looking forward to it. Gilgamesh, it's going to be a good fight. But anyway, guys, what did you guys think of this trailer? 8 minutes of, in my opinion, awesomeness. Are you guys looking forward to any of this stuff? Is there anything that you would have liked to have seen more of in this trailer? And now, obviously, I know Leviathan and Coil and whatnot. But, I mean, just little things that we've heard about that we didn't see. Relic upgrades, for example, that we've seen. More about fishing challenges. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think about this trailer? Again, if you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. It's awesome. It's only 8 minutes of your time. I guarantee you, you'll love it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for other videos that I do on other games. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter where you can get regular updates about when I'm posting videos like this, when I find new tidbits of information that maybe you haven't heard of just yet. And of course, you can just pick my brain if you have a question or two. And of course, follow me on Twitch where I do live stream Final Fantasy XIV. Dark Souls 2 is another big one right now. Going to be streaming Final Fantasy X, X-2, all that fun stuff. Be sure to come by. I stream almost every day, if not every other day. Just follow me and it'll let you know when I'm going live. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. And until next time, take care.